What makes us truly human is to be able to look at something and to expand upon it in ways that nobody could imagine. Whenever we talk about AI, people say, I don't know if AI can capture the human imagination, the questions. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not so sure about that because we have a group of people right now who are watching what is one of the greatest crime mysteries in quite a long time. And you're given a lot of clues, a lot of things that involve what's wrong with this picture. And yet, we have other groups of people saying, don't look there. That fellow Barnes, the lawyer with Viva, they're saying, hey, don't go there. That's crazy. Stop looking there. Stop asking that. What are you worried about? That fellow, the master debater, whatever his name is, he was on with Alex Jones, his son Rex. This guy Rex is terrific, and it's a movement either because they're paid, maybe, or they think this might help their career. Maybe it's a new angle. It's like that Posner, it was a Gary Posner, the book Case Closed. The only person in recorded history who actually thinks that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I don't know. Maybe that's it, part of the murmuration. It's hard to tell why, what motivates people for not wanting to be more involved in one of the greatest stories ever. This is a crime story that is really good. This is a real whodunit. Very rarely do we have a whodunit where we really don't know. We really don't know. We're not sure. We know it's not Tyler. We know it's not. And we don't know how this thing works. So we have this voice here, Candace, who was leading the pack, and others, our fellow, what would you call us, apostles, acolytes. I don't know what the particular word is, but we have said, she's on to something. This makes sense. It's not because, look, she's a wonderful person, and I want you to say she's wonderful and great, but I have been drawn to her intellectual modalities because of what she says, not because of, what she looks like or how she sounds or her pleasantness. She is pleasant. That's not it. It's her brain. It's what she's saying. I would think the same if I read what she said. Granted, the modality of her presentation is that much more soothing. So we're going to be talking about this because we are in the midst of a revolution. This is a rebellion. This is so interesting. And this is human genius where we're saying, no, throughout history, there have been people, rebels, who said, wait a minute, this is wrong. When Einstein came along and basically told Newton, no, that's not it. Your gravity is not even close. It was, how dare you? You're heretical. And then later on, when the quantum mechanics boys came along with Bohr and others, Einstein said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And then people said, no, they thought of things like black holes and gluons and gravitons and Schrodinger's cat. And what are you talking about? Because it was the genius of imagination. It was the genius, the intrepid, unfettered, unworried, unbothered commitment to getting to the truth. And it takes guts, and it takes imagination, and it takes an assiduous and absolutely focused attention to detail. That's what we're talking right now. We're going to discuss that. And also, by the way, the world is falling apart. If you see what's happening in other more mundane issues, if you look at these levels of expansion and invasion, look at Spain, and nobody's doing anything about it. And then this past week, we have everybody now, after the fact, just all of a sudden grew a pair of balls, and for the first time, they're talking about COVID and the like, including this Stephen Smith and these other wannabes. Have you noticed how the Stephen Smiths and the Bill Maher's, they're trying to change their spots, their stripes, but nobody's believing it because mendacity is indelible. But first, my friend, listen to what I'm saying. When I talk about disaster, I want you to listen about this. And I'm talking about my Patriot Supply and preparing and preparation. Are you seriously? Do you think I'm exaggerating? Watch this. The world is about to explode. Wars expand, shipping lanes close, supply chains break, fuel and fertilizer prices surge, crops fail, power grids go down, and then you reach the grocery store, and guess what? You find nothing left. Could you go 1 week without your local grocery store? A month? 6 months? That could never happen, right? No, no. Famous last words. So what happens when there's a blackout or a cyber attack or a storm or a quarantine or a shelter in place, an order that traps you at home? Panic is not a plan. Preparation is. And I'm not talking about banana chips and beef jerky. My Patriot Supply's 6-month emergency food supply provides you right now with more than 2,000 calories a day, 22 meal varieties, and food designated to last up to 25 years. Call it conspiracy theory or tinfoil prepper lunacy. You know I'm right. I know I'm right. Save $250 right now. Click the link below. Prepare with Lionel now. My friends, we will not lambitate the soles, the shoes of our oppressors. That's a good word, lambitate, to lick. Lambitate, Lambitate, lambitate. We will not lambitate. You understand this? This absolutely, positively is the most incredible thing in the world. By the way, yesterday I had an interview I did regarding gold and silver, precious metals investing. And normally I think to myself, okay, it's interesting. It's fascinating. Because the idea of gold, people think gold is, gold, plutonium, is zircon, anthracite, and they think it's some kind of a weird. Anyway, I talked to a young man named Micah Haynes. This is the video. This is the link. This guy is one of us. I mean, he flat out talks about conspiracy theories, prepping. I believe in this. Watch this video when you get a chance. Watch this guy. This is one of the smartest. I had no idea. Watch this absolute, how do I say this? This incredible, just this brilliance of this man. Watch this. Normally, because when you see, how sometimes you say, "Here's gold," and you kind of like get numb to it. You habituate to it. This will blow your mind. Also, by the way, special programming note: when people disagree with us, I don't think they're called trolls. I think they're called people who feel at home. Please don't hold back. Sometimes we need people to show the stupidity of what they're saying, but also the limpidity of what we're saying as well. So make sure you always feel at home here. Just be courteous. But if you disagree with what we're saying here, say it. Say it. But try something. All we ask is this. A couple of things don't work anymore. Candace is evil. Candace is the devil. Candace is a psychopath. It doesn't work anymore. It just, it doesn't work. Okay. It's kind of like kryptonite to us. It doesn't work. Tell us what Candace is saying that's wrong. Tell us. Right now, the prosecution, the defense are doing absolutely nothing to find out who actually killed Charlie Kirk. Nothing. They're doing nothing. And when Candace says, wait a minute, she's finding out connections between Guajardo, the medical examiner, and his wife, and the fuzzy. My God. Instead of people applauding her, you get Barnes and Viva saying, oh, no, that's crazy talk. What is this? Who are you? I really mean, I can't. There's a certain degree of disappointment. Say, wait a minute, you expect me, you'll say something that I normally believe, and I'm supposed to agree to that, but you just blaspheme Candace? I mean, to the point where it's like it's execration, it's defamatory, it's libelous in terms of the baseless. I mean, it's one thing to say she's wrong, but you're psychotic, you're crazy, you're a demon. What? Is this the best you can do? And they've just slipped. Glenn Beck is just, I don't know where he's. When you make a deal with the devil, so to speak, it shows nobody ever prospers. Pardon me. Nobody ever does. Hey, did you hear about Glenn Beck? Yeah, made a deal with the devil. When I say that, it's like you're applying. The world is collapsing. Did you see, there was an interview. Have you seen the interview on Piers Morgan? The only thing he does is, if Piers Morgan gets out of the way, he puts people together who basically scream and yell at each other. A lot of times it's gratuitous. There's an interview with Morandi and Dershowitz, and Morandi just, I mean, eviscerates him. You've got to see this. This is the stuff. It's like, thank you. At least we're hearing somebody talk about this. We need to address the truth here. And it takes people putting things together and noticing things that may be problematic to you, but not problematic to us. Because the bottom line is, in case you just tuned out, Tyler Robinson did not kill anybody. There is no evidence of this. And what may be the greatest example of, I don't know what you want to call it, but there's this thing, there's this group of people who just all of a sudden decide, like miners, like myna birds or magpies, they've come out of the woodwork, and what they've done is they've said, in essence, we're going to believe this, and we're going to say it in unison. Just like, for example, all of a sudden there are these COVID brilliant people, these COVID geniuses, all of a sudden, who are now coming forth and now saying, well, this is terrible, we should have known. I was like, wait a minute, you didn't say anything before. What's going on? And I'm not even sure whether this particular knowledge or this particular statement is even okay in social media circles, because what we learned then was that people absolutely positively, we learned that this will get you canned and sidelined and hurt in the long run. It's something that is just, it blows my mind. So here we have this, I don't know what the word is, but there's this weird there's this strange kind of what's the word? There's this collective mass, what would you call it? Conversion reaction, when people all of a sudden are looking at something and we're saying, hey, there we go. What do you mean? There it is. There's Tyler. Where? The picture. Didn't you see it? No, I didn't see the picture. Where is it? Well, it's as clear as day. What do you mean? Well, didn't you see it? Didn't you see the picture? There it is. There's Tyler. Clear as day. See, can't you make out the tennis shoes he wore? The posture? Can't you see the rifle? That's a Mauser 98. That's one of the original Mausers. Notice the bolt action. You notice that? The clothing? This is before he's changed his mind. Also, look at the look of determination on his face. Look at the look of guilt. This is a cold-blooded killer. This kind of, hey, we're going to Chick-fil-A. No. This is the face of a killer. This is what we're talking about right now. Don't be mistaken, my friends. Don't be mistaken, and don't think for a moment that we're exaggerating. Look at this. And when Benny Johnson and Probiotic, whatever the hell his name is, and all these other people stood forward, they came forward, they looked at this, and they were horrified. In fact, who was it? Whatever his name is, said, I kept looking at the clock thinking, please let this be over. Because let me tell you something. If I saw this for the first time, it would indelibly affect me. So don't kid yourself. 444 Destiny says, I have an 8K TV and still don't see Tyler. There's a good reason for that, my friend. There is a damn good reason. And they say this to you, and they expect you to say nothing. They say this to you, and they expect you to say, oh, would you just shut up? Just stop like that. The Becks and others, the Crowders. I cannot believe it's like at 2. So how does this work? Did somebody pick up the phone and say, hello? Yeah, listen. Sometimes when you do things in the business, like in the biz, there are companies, there are ad sales. Will say, hey, listen, I've got a new YouTube channel. Okay. And you meet with an ad salespeople and they say, would you like to do ads, make some extra money? Yeah, sure. Here's a good product. This might be skincare. This might be a food supplement. Yeah. And you look at them and you say, okay, I'll do it. Gold or investing, or which is what it is, because we are a commercial endeavor. That's what we do. We are capitalists. We are not communists. We're not Marxists. So we don't have, shared or patterned economies. We don't do this. We share advertising, especially when we have products that we like and agree and appreciate. It's what we do. This is what Madison Avenue is. It's what everybody does. It's sponsorship. It's what makes the world go around. Well, I'm sure somebody might say, listen, I got a special client for you. Who is it? Well, I'd rather not say. But if you will give us 10, 15, 20 anti-Candace spots a month, you'll make whatever it is. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm just imagining. There has to be a correlate, because I'm seeing people who they're not very good at it. They're not selling why I should not like Candace or why I shouldn't listen to her. It's like if I did a spot for something, and if I said, hey, you might want to invest in gold because why not? You say that's not selling this. The same thing with this. What is wrong with Candace? Well, tell me what it is. Well, she's evil. It's like, don't do that. Tell me one in particular. Why? Is this or is this not a blown up picture? Well, yeah. Well, what are we talking about then? Well, she's evil. And I was listening to somebody, and I don't really follow them. And by the way, because some people I will follow just because I want to see what they have to say. It's not because I endorse them. A good friend, Michael Phelps, says the ME and wife, in my opinion, are deep state. You don't get his position in New York City, and she simultaneously receives a full-time professorship at NYU in some dime a dozen held field like sociology without a heavy lift. Could be. Amber Bell, folks. Thank you, Amber Bell. Thank you. Unconditional support for the truth. Absolutely. And vocabulary. Vocabulary is power. This could be. I don't know whether they're deep state. I don't know anything about that. Looks like it, though. Looks like it. If somebody walked in and you see a guy and he's wearing a big bonnet, not those bonnets you see in arrest videos, but I mean like a hat you would wear at the Ascot, at the Derby, that is it. Who the hell is this? You look at Brooke Astor. It's like, I think that guy's gay. How do you know he's gay? Well, I don't know if he's gay, but he's wearing a dress and he's wearing a hat. It looks like Brooke Astor. It looks like B. Benaderet. It looks like Kate Bradley from Petticoat Junction. This is a dude. You don't know if he's gay. Okay, I don't know, but I'm going out on a limb here. Well, like you're saying, these people, it does seem kind of funny. It does seem kind of weird. Follow up on it. Blessed Man says, very quick for succinctly, he says, how do we hold Benny Tatum and Probiotic responsible for influencing the masses? It is their opinion, because this is the First Amendment. We counter it. They have every right in the world to say that. I don't care. Do you know, my dear friends, how Proboscis and others have done more? And Benny's a puker. Hey, everybody, what's going on there? Sunday, down and dirty, funny colors, modifies. Hey, everybody, what the hell is going on with this video? Look at this. Hey, that's Tucker. 8 after the hour, coming up, ABBA. And, it's corny. You don't believe anything. You're so produced. There's no authenticity to you. Come on, man. Come on, dude. And Tatum is retarded. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say this. I'm sorry. I know people say it's not a racial thing. He's just a stonad. He really is. He's a moron. Say, this guy? And I don't see how you could have this as you can't put a 30-06 inside here and say, you idiot. They're not putting around. What? Who is this? You got him? At least I mean, I don't understand. But listen, no. They have the right to say that. And this idea of too about Candace has to, they're going to seize her seize her, seize what? They don't even know what they're talking about. Well, she's obviously breaking the law. How? Well, because she's what? Did Jack Anderson break? Did Mark Lane? Did other people who investigated these? Dorothy Kilgallen. Well, you know what they did to her, and these other people. I just want to know this. Please let me wait till say no. Come here. Remember that guy? Remember that guy who would go up to people, and this was not right. He would go up to people like Edgar Mitchell and Buzz Aldrin until he socked them and said, "Put your hand on a Bible and swear you landed on the moon." Now, look, I'm all for open and honest inquiry, but don't do that. Don't do that. There was a guy today I was going to put up he had a very interesting clip, had a good point, but he was F-bombing everything. It's like, can you get through this? Can you? I know you love the F word. I think the S word is far more facile, but you're using it as a substitution for wit, and it's become a crutch. And then, so there's a certain degree of decorum. Same thing with this guy. But listen, as far as I'm concerned, they can say whatever they want. They've done more for me. When he sits there with that look, like, what do you always? What's this look for? Smile for? What is this? I swear to God. It's like he's passing something. It's like he's in pain. It's like he's dyspeptic, like he's hurting. He's some kind of lower GI distress, like he's trying to pass a Bezor. In any event, let's go through a couple of things here. And this is so great. Candace is just, and I'm going to tell you what she does, which is the worst thing you can ever do to somebody. When she laughs at you, and it's an actual hearty laugh where she's laughing in derision, it's one of the best things ever. Let's watch this.
Anyway, back to our question. Where are the witnesses to the events that took place that day at Timpanogos Hospital? Where are they?
This was great too. Every single day, there's another aspect, another angle, another level, another stratum, another layer that nobody's even talked about, that nobody's even addressed.
Hey, that's a scene. Didn't they see him doing that? Didn't they see Dr. Harpole House? Well, listen to this. I am told that at some point in the 10 o'clock a.m. hour on September 10th, so to be clear, and this is crucial, over 2 hours before Charlie was shot, the Timpanogos hospital staff directed everyone who was in the emergency room into a different wing of the hospital.
Now, wait a minute. Hold it. Wait, what? What? This reminds me when years ago when people like Alex Jones and I think it was Jim Tucker said there's this thing called Bilderberg. And they said, would you stop with this crazy? He goes, no, there's a group called Bilderberg. Would you stop this conspiracy? It's not a conspiracy group. It's called Bilderberg. And Bilderberg would go into a resort, into a hotel, and they would say, everybody there, you got to leave. It was like unceremonious. We'll pay you, whatever, just get up and leave to make room for people from around the world and their security details and all that sort of stuff. Okay, you got that? Okay. And he said this was crazy. Well, it happened. Remember Chantilly, Virginia, which is the one that they believe where Obama may have been to a Bilderberg. Don't know about that. Anyway, we heard this. And it was a common MO. They went and they just said, everybody out. And they thought nothing of it. And the reason why they did it was because they could do it. Now, that was a different story. This was an analogy. The point being that what we have here is something even more interesting. And at least it warrants our warrants our pursuit.
People were not sure what was going on. The staff was directed to move everyone in the emergency room to a different wing of the hospital. Then after some time, at approximately 11:30 a.m., patients were informed that they would be transferred aboard shuttles to Intermountain Hospital. That's Utah Valley Hospital. And that's what happened. All of the emergency room patients and all of their files were then transferred to Intermountain. So there's effectively no trail outside of hospital cameras, which have been conveniently seized by Kash Patel's office, of these patients ever having been at Timpanogos Hospital. Now, there are a few things I'd like to say here. First, there's always a trail. There's always a trail. Somebody somewhere drove that shuttle bus, booked the shuttle bus, saw the shuttle bus arriving at Intermountain Hospital, was working at Intermountain Hospital when a shuttle bus stopped and people emerged and files mysteriously then were transferred. And if you are that somebody, that one body, please email us. By the way, I just want to mention, if you were one of those patients, you probably should also contact a lawyer, but you can't pull that off without something. There's also some techie people, maybe the Google satellite imagery, this shuttle, somebody's going to look up shuttle companies. Was there a weird trip that day? Let's get on that. More tips at CandaceOwens.com, because if we are able to prove that this took place beyond a shadow of a doubt with paperwork, then I would say foreknowledge of Charlie's assassination can no longer be disputed.
Well, if this is true, you're right. So here's the deal. Do it. Do you have any idea of what pours in on a regular basis and how Candace must have teams? I have no idea. I'm only imagining this. Teams of people reviewing what comes in terms of email and the like. Insight says it's healthy to fast from eating FEDSLOP. Yes, yes, yes. And by the way, it's funny you say that today is my fasting day. There's something so, there's something so, I don't know what the word is. It's spiritual. Like, wow, you're fighting something. It's like, I'm hungry. No, I'm going to fight this. No, I'm in control. I control the reality, not you, circadian rhythm, not you. In any event. Anyway, so what's happening about this, which is the most interesting, is that you have people right now who are saying, this does not make sense. It takes somebody who was in the pantry of the Ambassador Hotel, who remembers counting the number of rounds of shots fired, and you realize those shots fired have more than the amount of rounds that are kept in the cylinder of the revolver that Sirhan allegedly used. It takes somebody, and you can say, well, how did we miss that? Because not everybody asks a question. Do you think that when something happens like this, somebody picks up the phone and says, the damnedest thing happened? The damnedest thing happened. We were at this hospital, if this is true. And when I say if this is true, not because I just believe Candace, she said, I heard as well. So she's like me, if this is true, tell me what you think. Is it impossible? The first thing one must always ask is this impossible? I mentioned before the moon landing. The first question one must ask is it possible for them to have ever landed on the moon without anybody knowing it? Or not land. Is it possible that all this could have been false? Is it possible that this could have been staged and contrived? Is it possible? If it is not possible, if it is not even remotely possible, then no. Is it possible for Hitler to be alive today? No. No. Is it possible? No. Right, because of the age. It doesn't work. Whatever his age is, no. So we can eliminate that. Other things, if you can't eliminate it, so then you go to the next step. Well, let me see how interesting this is. How can that happen? The point is, she's the only person even thinking about this. And I am telling you how just Tell me afterwards that, let me jump to the future. Tell me that when all is said and done, Candace meets with Nestor, the defense lawyer, and says, yes, we were in close proximity. I met with him. Barron met with him. We did not want people to know this. We are under no duty to let the people know this, which is true. But what we did was we let them know or aware of what we knew. Also, I would love to be a post-chart when all this is said and done, for Candace to write a book or have something to say. This is what came in. We were the repository of all this. We had can you imagine the thousands of calls? Thousands. People who were there that day, people who know something. And a lot of times too, people will call you and you get, how do I say this? Sometimes crazy calls from people. Not that they're crazy, not that they deserve to be in a mental hospital, but they really aren't. They really don't know anything. They really don't know anything. They really don't know anything. And they're not very, they just don't, you know what I'm saying? They're not, you know what I mean? It's just not. Anyway, there is that part. There are some people who, and they'll say, hey, I've got an idea, and they want to contact you because they get involved and they're very, very into it. But can you only imagine the amount of information that they have to sift through and collate and parse and segregate and put into different, well, this is okay, this is good. It must be overwhelming. I mean, you would need a special staff just to handle that, just to handle the tips that are coming in. And there are also people who call her up and they say, you will listen to me. You will listen to me. And also, she can tell you a lot of things which people will call up and they'll say, we rejected it whole cloth because it made no sense. And that's also a consideration as well. These are situations, my dear friend. These are situations which I must say is so incredibly refreshing and so fascinating. So my question is, why would anybody want to do this? Why immediately I think people are told, all right, usual suspects, tell her she's crazy. Start talking about how impossible that would be. Do you know how crazy that would be? And again, Candace said, this is what I heard. You tell me. Their whole thing is, see, that can't be. That can't be. There's no way they could have ever faked the moon landing. Well, because do you know how many people there would have been involved who couldn't have kept their mouth shut? You've heard this before. They say the same thing all the time. The amount of people that would have had to have been involved in the conspiracy, the amount of people that, yeah. And they say this with such frequency, and they really mean it. They think it means something. They think that at this particular point, and it doesn't. The point is, every single day, the identification, people who are, and again, they have the right to come forward and say, no, that's not true. But in terms of the medical examiner and other people as well, you can say, gee, his wife was a furry or whatever the story was. Now, is that critical to the issue of guilt? No, but it's interesting. Don't you think that's interesting? I think so. Do you not think if I told you that, let's say that all of the doctors in the Parkland Memorial Hospital surgical suite, all of them were CIA officers, don't you think that would have meant something? If that were true, yes, of course. Does it prove anything? No, but it's something. It's just, excuse me. But you see what I'm saying? Okay. Here's another one as well. This is another one. And please, let me just remind you of something. It is as clear as day that this is Tyler Robinson. This is clear. And I also want to find out, I want to say, hey, listen, when this is over, hey, Posobiec, show us that video. Can somebody show me the video that when he watched it, he said, please let these minutes, what was that? He was very kind of an impassioned, he was almost about to lacrimate. He was watching this. He said, please let this be over with. I couldn't sleep and it was so awful. The young lady Siciliani who sat in the courtroom, who slept on the sidewalk, whatever it was, to get a seat. She said, we didn't see that. So and if it turns out there was no video, if it turns out it doesn't get any better than this, then the real question is, how can you lie? Now, are they somehow involved in some form of criminal liability? I don't think so. Not for saying that. Let's see what else our friend Ms. Candace has to say.
Anyway, back to our question. Where are the witnesses to the events that took place that day
Is this the same one?
at Timpanogos Hospital?
Yeah, I think I did the same one. Pardon me. Sorry about that. I think that was duplicative. Duplicative means a duplicate. Duplicitous means duplicity, which means legerdemain, kind of confusing and the like. Changing the subject just a little bit. Just a little bit. If you think that this is hard to believe, explain to me how this is allowed in Spain, how this is being watched by, look at these police and others, how all men pouring into Spain, just ending, endless. Look at this. It's like human waste. I don't want to use those terms, but this is happening. And it's coming here. It's coming here. Nobody doing anything about it. Move along. Give me the sign. Okay, go ahead. Come on. Come on, move the truck. Let's go. And all these human vermin extravasate and permeate and perfume. Yeah, how about that? Isn't that something? That's happening here right now. Happening before your eyes. So do you really think that the Tyler Robinson thing is a no? Nobody's doing anything about that. Nothing. Stephen A. Smith all of a sudden says, well, all of a sudden I have to hold these apologies. I think these people who had legitimate COVID, where were you now that the coast is clear? Because you're a phony. You're trying your best to come across as some kind of a legitimate voice. You're okay when it comes to sports, but you're a jadrul with the rest of these folks. And you have no business even daring to waste our time, though you're entitled to. It's a free country. But we are not going to be in any way forced to, at least the way I see it, to be forced to adhere, to listen to these morons. These morons. Bill Maher, too. I'm going to try this. I'm going to go more, John Fetterman, the complete sellout and shill for the Pennsylvania senator, who went from not being able to talk to complete recovery. That was interesting. Very interesting. Now they're saying, become a Republican. They said, no, keep him in the Democratic Party and let him contaminate it. You don't believe, you think, come on. The other day we had Zelensky, Netanyahu, everything in this country. Have you seen the stories regarding, oh my God, please watch Ben Swann's report. It's on my YouTube, X at Lionel Media. It's about 11 minutes about the draft, about the NDAA. See, this is important, but you've got to be able to handle multiple plates at the same time. I'm not saying this is uninteresting, but if you think that the only thing I care about, what we talk about is a different story. But if you think the only thing I care about and watch is nothing but, tell it, no. This is a part of it, which is interesting. But see, the world is collapsing. The world is collapsing. And believe it or not, and I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but a lot of our distraction is taking place because of Tyler. Because this is a wonderful distraction from other parts. Because remember, when the Tyler Robinson case is over with, and whatever the matter is disposed of, the world will still continue to collapse. So just remember that. Don't focus everything on this. Be aware, be sentient, make sure you focus on other things as well. And also I've never seen such a collapse of the Donald Trump legacy. And I loved Trump when he was a candidate. And by the way, I've not abandoned See, I don't get, it's so funny. I was watching Alex Jones and Roger Stone, really getting at it, okay? Oh, tinfoil hat. Mama says, let's not solve the case for the prosecution. Thank you. Well, we want to. We will. Well, we want to because we want them to realize the error of their way. So maybe they can focus on the person who really did kill Charlie. But I thank you. They can very well be. There's this thing going on now where Alex Jones is just furious at President Trump, and I want him. He's incompetent. He's not incompetent. He's crazy. He's not crazy. I want him removed through the 25th Amendment and impeachment. Get rid of him. Get off. Where did this come from? Roger Stone, who, by the way, who was pardoned by him and has been a long time acolyte and friend and apostle, says, I'm against this, and he has severed his ties, ostensibly, if you believe this, with Alex. Okay, fine. Go ahead, fine. But nobody is going to remove President Trump via the 25th Amendment. No one. Because you're not going to get the vice president and members of his cabinet to claim that he is not competent. And then he immediately says, no, I'm going to contest this, and we're going to stop what we're doing, and we're going to have a hearing to determine competency. It's like, this is the most, and then we have to have a supermajority in both houses to remove him. The drafters clearly wanted this to be so difficult. Same thing with impeachment. Impeachment is going to be statistically, mathematically impossible for removal. So stop talking about it. It's this word that people use like receipts or no worries, these expressions, no problem, FEDSLOP, everything's FEDSLOP. He's a Fed. No, this is not necessarily Fed. It's beyond that. We get into a word, we get into a phrase, we get into this thing, and we perseverate over and over again. And it becomes secondhand for this. It's not. It's one, just like conspiracy theory. Anti-Semite. That's done. Now let me show you something. Here we go. Tinfoil says, court footage is from different roof. By the way, there's different, we don't know these things. There is a roof. Somebody was saying, well, why are we seeing a highway or whatever? Look, the bottom line is simply this. I don't have to prove anything. You do. So I still want to know from our friend, Probiotic and others, what did you see? Where is the evidence? And if it turns out that you didn't see anything that was clear, why did you lie to your constituents? Is there a law against lying? Of course not. Now I want to show you this one. This one, I don't know why I think this is important. This is kind of an attempt. I don't want to slam it. It's not. It's very, very, very perfunctory, very surface level. It doesn't really get to the core of it, but it gives you an idea of a recurring theme, and that is how nobody believes Erica, which is something to do, which is a different matter altogether. Watch this.
All right. Erica for idiots. Her background's inconsistent. Her behavior after Charlie's death is completely strange. Her rise to power was immediate. I mean, please don't take a month to cry. The resurfaced allegations intensify, and they intensify
I like
public
the delivery.
suspicion. So basically, what we tried to lay out here is the pattern, not only the gaps, the contradictions, but the whispers. And
you know who he sounds like? Who is that guy? The comedian, sort of oh God. What is his name? You know what I'm talking about. There's in the West Coast, he used to be in the Man Show. I can't think of his name. You know, but he was with Jimmy Kimmel. What's his name? Talks like that. He's kind of a guy who talks like that. You know what I'm talking about? He's Dr. Drew's buddy. He talks like this. Anyway, I'll get to the bottom of that. Anyway, watch this.
Then you decide what they mean. For the
Body,
full
man.
episode, check
Adam
us out on
Carolla.
YouTube
Thank you.
at The Joe Rossano Show.
Didn't he sound like Adam Carolla? He's on the Joe Rossano Show. It's a kind of way to talk like that. Andy? There you go. Thank you. Andy? No, not Andy. Adam Carolla talks like kind of better with to talk like that. Sort of a thing. So I was on the Pacific Palisade. And I'm not mocking. I'm just saying this is the way he's kind of talks like that. Okay. This is one of those ones which I have to tell you, folks, this is a guilty pleasure. And that is, of course, notice people are saying Adam Carolla now. I guess it's after the fact. So what did this guy just say? Nothing. Nothing. He just kind of sort of, hey, by the way, there was kind of a review, whatever. But the point is, people, we go back to this. You see, people forget the idea that there was this person, this wonderful, wonderful, I don't know, it dropped from heaven. This dropped from heaven, and we had this.
It seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world. Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They have continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest.
And that's what she's being, not she, but others are doing to you. Notice how the story has changed. You're a conspiracy theorist or something. See, it's not enough to say you're wrong. You must be, there must be appended to that allegation something else, some other kind of a weird storyline, something that says it's just they just can't say, I think you're full of shit, which is fine. That would make some sense. No, this is different. You must be something else. You must be even worse. You are devoid of anything else. This gets me. This is my favorite. Let's go back to this dude. Remember this feller? Remember this guy?
Guys, I'm not gonna mince words. All right, I'm gonna be blunt because
he's gonna be blunt. By the way, and by the way, he's gotta say, guys. You have no idea how I hate that. I'm sorry. I know. Candace says, I know. It's just when I hear anybody getting this, it just drives. I'm sorry. I don't say guys. I don't say guys. I don't say gals. I don't say that. Okay. I don't say it. What's even worse is when this guy says it.
Look, guys, I'm not gonna mince words.
Can't mince. Don't mince them
because it deserves it. And yes. I'm just gonna say what it was.
I'm gonna tell you because I can't, and I'm having a hard time telling you what it was because I'm trying to think how in the hell do I possibly explain that this grainy, granular thing, which I may or may not have seen, but I'm gonna do my best because a deal's a deal, and I gotta do my best because I've been appointed the point man in this whole thing.
You see him shooting Charlie.
You see him like it. I mean, so clear. You can't believe, and you go, that he's clear. I mean, clear, limpid, pellucid, clarity, claro. You see it. It's, and you wonder, I've never seen anything like this. This might be some kind of a new, I'm surprised you don't see this technology at the new electronics show that appears every year. Maybe it's another Chinese invention.
You see him executing Charlie.
As clear as day. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Oh, no, not that Loch Ness monster thing. No, nay. No, this is clear.
You see him take the shot.
You see him and you go, hey, somebody stop him. And you're wondering, where the hell did this picture come from? Why didn't the person taking the picture call the cops?
And so you've seen the video, and Blake, I know you were there, man.
You were there, man. Hey, dude. Hey, bruh. You were there, bruh. You saw it. We saw it clear. Again, Cecilia says, I was there. I didn't see that.
And it was like watching Charlie die all over again, seeing the
Well, it is technically, because you're seeing, if this is true, and we have no reason to dispute it. But if you are seeing a repeat of an execution, yeah, it is like seeing it again by definition. That was brilliant observation on your part.
this video. It's the most damning thing I've seen all week.
All week. Damning? Damning? 100%. Damning.
For Tyler Robinson.
Yeah.
With the zoom in, it just changes everything. It's like,
Do you believe anything he is saying? Do you believe if somebody was sitting there and said what he is purportedly saying, yeah, I saw this, how these bastards are wasting our time. I saw it. He looks, it's almost real. Maybe it's his style. Maybe it's some kind of a language thing. Maybe, who knows? But have you ever seen somebody so in such pain saying something which should be so clear?
it's like watching a completely different video, because the one that zoomed out, you can't even see anything. This
You can't say anything, because when you zoom out and pixelated, digital, it becomes like, it becomes Loch Ness or Nessie or that Sasquatch or whatever it is. It doesn't even make any sense. Film works great, but zeroing in on, of course, this is 4K. And again, remember, this camera from behind, wherever this came from, employs a technology humans have not seen.
one, he walks up.
Yep.
It's just like the officer said
Yep.
earlier in the,
Sure.
I guess it was day one,
Yeah.
that he walks up
What's up?
over the guardrail, goes down, and you could see him kind of working on something. And it's, I believe that's when he was assembling the rifle. He then stands up. He runs very quickly across the gravel roof to the edge. And then when he gets to the edge, you see him go down,
Right?
and he's in the prone position.
Our own position.
And it's, they have this clock, like the timestamp that's up.
Now, this is where I think I'm saying, I hope he's not just embellishing this. I hope that, not that I hope this happened, but now we're lending a little particularity to the story, which, by the way, this sounds exactly like whatever it was that. So there's another picture. You've got another picture of the same shot. Sounds like him running. We didn't see the putting the rifle together business. And by the way, putting that rifle together, that's something that's damn good. This is with the scope, and you got to balance it, and you got to do all this stuff. Anyway, it sounds almost identical to what we saw with Candace. Maybe this is another one. Maybe this is the clear one, or maybe it was shown or taken by somebody else. And again, why behind him? Why? Somebody would say, "Hey, take a picture." The hell with that. Police yell, "Listen, there's a guy on a rifle." Yeah, clear as day. No, it's just like years ago when Sally Struthers. Remember when Sally Struthers would be help these people? Remember these kids were starving. Give them part of your sandwich. Intervene. Don't just document this. But I interject.
And it's 12:20. I think it's 12:21, 12:22 when he first gets there, and I'm just sitting there like, stop the clock. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Like trying to will time to stop. Like, don't get to 12:23. Like, just don't get to 12:23.
Uh-huh.
And he gets to 12:23.
Yeah.
And you see him take the shot.
Yeah.
And he gets back up, and then he runs across, and you've seen the end of it already, where he makes the jump. But
and you also saw the partial lateral thing that whatever that Candace referred to. Oh, who was it? Tactical Schmactical came up as a show that even children can. His duty was do something. Why? You're the expert. Why am I an expert? Because I say you're an expert. We don't have anybody. Put up got a picture of a kid. That'll do. A picture of a kid? That's going to refute it. It's all we have, schmuck. Do it. Okay. I'll show you. I'll do the best I can. That of course was Pozo. And then you got Benny.
And what they played for us in the courthouse atomized all theories.
I hope there's a child in the background. I hope it's his child and not so. Anyway,
About what may or may not have gone on that day. Gone, up in smoke,
gone,
evaporated.
clear.
Because as you can see, and as the prosecution has already stated to the court,
Don't you know there's noise in the background? It sounds like a lively place.
there is high definition,
High definition.
4K video that they played
4K.
for us and us alone. They told the media to turn off their cameras.
Who has all of this? Who has this 4K? Who?
This was just a presentation for the family of the full state's high definition evidence, all that you've seen right here. Yeah, go ahead and put up the Tyler UVU footage full. Put that up, please, next to me when you got it. Thank you.
Here we go.
So
See
what
the
you've
faces?
seen is a camera that has a throw of about 100 feet. So this is a camera filming, already zoomed in,
Yeah.
filming a screen that is not really a high definition screen.
All right. Okay. Now, I don't know that you say Benny's a liar. I don't know if he's a liar. Maybe he saw this. I don't know. I like when somebody says, Lionel, no mention of the illegal war against Iran and the death and destruction caused by USSR in the entire Middle East. Everything these two do is death. Don't you want to talk about this now? I'm not talking about that now. I'm not talking about that now. I always love, and I appreciate this. There's always somebody who says, why aren't you talking about the fact that as we speak, the yellow garbled finch is being killed by virtue of data centers? There's always something we're not talking about because you only talk about one thing at a time. It's so funny. Normally people are saying, would you stop changing the subject? I'm all over the place. And then somebody will say, you don't understand. I don't think any of this is important. Why aren't you talking about Gaza? Why aren't you talking about the Bab el-Mandeb and the Houthis and Yemen and Saudi Arabia? What about that? What about Maloney? What about the NDAA? What about the fact that we're talking? There's always somebody who says, you're not talking about something. And I appreciate that. And I love this. No, I know we're going to ignore them, but I always have to say, do yourself a favor. And then to keep copy and pasting and keep hitting it again and again. Why aren't you talking about it? Say, why don't you understand? We're not talking about it. That's like calling up a radio station. Why aren't you playing the Bee Gees? Why? You keep playing this other stuff, this rap stuff or this hip hop. Why don't you play the Bee Gees? Because we're not. I don't care why. I want to know. I love this. It's a sense of hubris, this hubristic. I know what's going on. I'm aware of this. You don't. You're talking about this Candace crap all the time. That's not what's important. Oh, really? Really? This is a crime of the century. This is a whodunit. This is captivating. It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. I want to talk about Lebanon. I'm going to talk about the Hezbollah, and I love this. This is the part. It's always normally it's a tyro, a parvenu, dare I say, a news pangendrum. Somebody who comes along and says, I kind of like this. I'm kind of the elite. What I say is important. You're talking about crap. Anyway, do yourself a favor. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. If somebody's talking about something, don't raise your hand and say, why aren't you talking about something else? Or why don't you leave? Anyway. So here we have this wonderful procession right now before us. It is so beautiful and so wonderful. And yet we still don't have. So we have, let me go back. We still have a number of people who seem to be really focused in still going after Candace, which is this nonsense. They really don't have anything. So like I said before, I hope that one day in the future, we're going to say, yes, the Tyler defense team was talking. They were quiet because they had the gag orders and they were actively investigating all of this. Yes. And you would think I guarantee you, somebody would say, I promise you, I would be on the phone and would be talking to the prosecutor and saying, listen, I don't want you to be caught up, but do you know what's happening here? Do you know, did you see this new? this 4K, do you have this 4K? Do you have another 4K? Because they're talking about something. And honestly, they always talk about, what about Candace? Will Candace contaminate a potential jury? Will Candace interfere with the potential impaneling of a jury? Will Candace? Well, what happens if these people keep creating this? Let's say it's a fiction, say it doesn't exist, this 4K clear review. What if it doesn't exist? And you're promising everybody, well, we're going to go to trial. You're going to get this. Can't wait to see this video. Why? Benny Johnson said it. And Provo, Utah, he said it. We're going to see this. Why? Because I've been watching this. I didn't tell them, but I can't wait to see. And then there is no such thing. So you ask me, or answer me rather, what's worse, Candace asking questions or somebody claiming there is evidence of something? Candace always asks questions. Candace is always saying, this does not show this. Because remember something, it's not my story. It's not her story. Back up a little bit. Whenever you believe something, September will be the 25th anniversary of September the 11th. And what will happen invariably is as follows. There will be people who say, you know, you talk a lot of stuff about Building 7 or whatever. Well, what do you think happened? Well, where are those people? And you have to say, stop. This is your story, not mine. Don't ask me to put something together. I never came up with this. You did. You came up with the idea of 9/11. You told me about this. So Candace doesn't have to explain anything that happened. She doesn't have to explain the theory, what happened, who was there, who wasn't there. Doesn't have to do this. Period. This is the most important thing in the world. This is the most important thing in the world. And I want you to understand this. You are under no duty to explain anything to anybody at any time regarding this. That's simple. That's simple. This is their story. And all that we're doing is asking what's going on here. And if it was true, and believe me, they are pursuing this. Do you know what would happen if it wasn't for Candace? Do you know what would happen? And no matter how great, and they are great, Barron, and I'm going to be talking to him next week and others as well. And he is, I mean, he's a monster. I mean, hats off, much respect. But her platform shone the light, so to speak, on the issue. Were it not for her, we wouldn't know anything about this. She is the single worst impediment and problem for those people trying to perpetuate this nonsense or whatever it is. So the bottom line is very, very simply this, and I mean this sincerely. The bottom line is this. Where would we be without this? So let us all remember this, okay? By the way, she never blamed anything on Erica. Remember this. Remember this, right? Nobody ever said, just to reiterate, nobody ever said Erica had anything to do with it, or any of the TPUSA people, or Blake, or this, or that, or Andrew, or nobody. Never heard it. Maybe an observer might. Candace never did. I sure as heck never did. There's no evidence of it. None. And also, when somebody is involved in behavior that you think is interesting, when somebody is involved in behavior that seems to be an impediment, where somebody that seems to occlude and obstruct perhaps the clear and immediate and celeritous finding of truth, oftentimes people think they must have something to do with it. That might be your opinion. Candace never said that. So they're doing everything in their power to say, you took this poor widow and you're blaming her. No, you're not. You're saying the TPUSA crowd was up. No, we're not. You're saying that Andrew and Blake. No. Now there's different reasons why we're saying no. Some of them are not necessarily congratulatory, because seriously, you would not want these idiots anywhere near any kind of plot, because no. And people can do some pretty strange stuff and act very, very weird, very, very oddly at the time. They can react in ways you might not think might be consistent with the way you would believe. But just understand this. That's not it right now. You can try this. So that theory is ridiculous, that anybody's blaming them. That's not true. Number two, the idea that you can't talk about Erica because she's a widow. Let me go back in history, remind you that Jackie Kennedy was absolutely upbraided for marrying Aristotle Onassis. How dare you? Also, not really Ethel to an extent. There was an Andy Williams suggestion. I don't know if that is true, but anyway, but Yoko Ono was blamed for everything after John died. Even Courtney Love, even Coretta Scott King, even Mary Todd Lincoln. She was spending too much money. Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's widow, yeah. And if there's this idea about hands off, then we should also look at Diddy, because his wife apparently was also a loss. So he is a widower. So this doesn't make any sense. They tried that one, and they've backed off that. How dare a widow? The whole Dana Lash. And Dana Lash, for the rest of our lives, gave us widow. Does she understand what a fool she made of herself? Does she have any idea? No, that's the part that gets me. They don't know this. We are laughing hysterically at this, and they are none the wiser. So, my friends, I say to you, I mean this, and I mean that sincerely. Please, relax, dear friends. Relax and dare I say, focus on what's going on. We will talk later on today. I hope everybody's doing is great this Friday. I want to remind you one more time. This is a great, great, great video I want you to watch when you get a chance. There are so many people that I really like who are a part of. I love what people are called conspiracy theorists. You have no idea how that word, my old word that drove me crazy was a liberal. People would say, I'm a liberal. It's like, what are you talking about? A liberal? Yeah, a liberal? You think I'm a liberal? Why am I a liberal? Well, you just are. And the word didn't mean anything. They just said that because if you weren't some blind Ronald Reagan acolyte or something, you would somehow be, I guess, I don't know. But that doesn't apply. Conspiracy theorist, they throw that one in there as well. A MAGA, not MAGA. What's MAGA? What does that even mean? I don't know what that means. They're always trying to throw a label at you. They're trying to throw something at you. Be also careful with FEDSLOP. I know you don't mean it, but not everything is FEDSLOP. Don't dilute the sting of the word. If you like coriander, don't dump it on cereal. It doesn't fit all the time. It doesn't fit always. It's a spice. It's not the main course. Focus on this. And finally, what you are witnessing right now is the end of a political kind of a duality, left versus right, Democrat versus Republican, conservative versus liberal. That's over with. That's done. It is so done. It's like top 40 radio. It's done. It's finished. It doesn't exist. It was a vestige. It was news is done. News platforms are done. People, this idea, look, I used to, and a lot of us were raised and we were used to different things. We remember the days of Cronkite and Peter Jennings and Frank Reynolds and the Big Three and Huntley and Brinkley. Those days are over. You can't go back to that. Nobody recognizes this. Nobody wants this. There is a fundamental, there is something. October the 7th, 2023 changed everything. It brought people together in ways you can't imagine. And what was so interesting is that there are people who started off, it's very interesting. I know this may sound odd to you. There's a parallel to Israel and Gaza and Hamas and Charlie and Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk, I will say, I can't speak for you. My heart broke for her. I didn't know who she was. I had no idea who she was. I knew she was the widow, but I thought, oh my God, because my normal reaction as a human being is to feel sorry for the wife and the mother of kids who lost their father. October the 7th. The attack, Hamas, was horrible. The world was 100%. I know there's a couple of hardcore forks and spoons, folks, but for the most part, and then that preceded this absolute annihilation of Gaza. Just annihilation. You call it genocide, you call it disaster, you call it whatever you want to call it. If words bother you, pick a different word. Doesn't bother me. You see what happens? Two. And how did it go? Because people understand. They can understand a movie, a script, a change in plot, change in character, change of direction. That's what we're seeing right now. So there are people, and I say hats off to Judge Andrew Napolitano. It is one of the must in your daily reads, your daily follows. Follow him, and John Mearsheimer, who finally had his own YouTube channel. Finally, Colonel Douglas McGregor, phenomenal. Larry Johnson, Pepe Escobar, Max Blumenthal. Oh, he's under attack right now. And that because he's on to something. And Aaron Monte and others trying to explain Iran. Watch Piers Morgan with Morandi just eviscerating Alan Dershowitz. And you're wondering, it's time for you who are, with all due respect, and I mean this sincerely, sometimes, when you have a football team and you're saying, take them back out. What? Sit down. You've been playing the whole team. You're tired. Let's bring in a replacement, because we've got to keep the defense or the offense fresh, and we're exhausting you. Alan Dershowitz, I don't know whose fire he's exciting. He was historically, not now. Ben Shapiro, not now. Bill Maher, not now. I don't know where these people think they are. A lot of folks, I hate to say it, Glenn Beck, not now. It's not this. It's different. Nobody wants to hear. It's funny. Sometimes you want to hear the oldies. Sometimes you don't. Nobody ever goes to a Stones concert and says, let me hear the new stuff. Nobody ever does. You've got to know the audience. And what the audience is saying is, not you. We need somebody different. I've never seen some of the worst spokespeople ever. Who in their right mind ever thought, I'm going to get Ben Shapiro to make your point? And by the way, there have been some very, very effective people. Don't get me wrong. You might think that the whole Middle East cause is lost, but there have been some very effective and efficacious speakers. But there comes a point when every time you turn it on, it's Alan Dershowitz, again, nothing against him, but we've heard it. They're tired. Mix it up a little bit. Bring somebody new here. Well, I can't tell. Is this a new one? Is this an old one? I'm not really sure. And Ben Shapiro. And then Erica. Why doesn't Erica understand? And I'm going to say this, and I'm trying not to be mean, because people are going to think it's mean, but it's the truth. Nobody wants to hear her anymore. Or if you insist upon talking, talk about somebody else. And don't read the Bible the way I would read the owner's manual for a Tesla. I'm just not reading it. Take the fob, turn it 1/4 inch to the left. There's no passion. Mix it up. Mix this thing up. I don't understand this. I've never understood. Why does Joel Osteen think he speaks something that he's going to lure people to Christianity? This guy? Do they not see this? Seriously. You know what I mean? It's not meant as it's just a fact. It's a fact. Do you know why in the restaurant business they have trends? Remember when bowls, that acai and all this stuff, bowls. How about a bowl? A bowl? Yeah, a bowl Yeah, we sell bowls. Okay. Flatbreads. What's that? Shitty pizza. What else do you have? Paninis. Paninis. They were big for like a week and a half. And then they're just a trend, you know. Probiotic, macrobiotic, whatever. There's a trend. Well, that's what happens in news. There's a trend. And the trend now is this idea called absolute truth, unfettered, uncontaminated by the fluff of the days of Cronkite and Peter Jennings and Huntley Brinkley and Barbara Walters. And it's the View has been replaced by others as well. Things just change. That's all I'm saying. And somewhere along the line, somebody said, no, we are not going to, the Charlie Kirk show is an abomination. Why they let, every day people just roll tape is like, they're going to say something stupid. Every single day. Every time Erica talks, people hold their breath. Get ready. You've never watched Erica Kirk say anything where you said, you know what? I had her all wrong. She said something today that was so important. Never. It's impossible because she doesn't know what she's doing. It's an actress trying to be an actress. Again, I'm not saying she's not a widow. I'm not saying this is the reality. And what you want is reality. That's all. And sometimes reality hurts. It stings. It's like, not enough. This is ridiculous. This is dumb. This doesn't work anymore. It's just, and that's the thing which is the most important about being the shock jock. Today, being shocking is telling the truth. Absolutely telling the truth. And the truth always gets you into trouble. Always. And finally, stop playing the top 40. Stop playing this. Fox News is, for our purposes, dead. For its clientele, they're wonderful. When Sean Hannity sat there and did this eulogium, this panegyric, this elegy to Lindsey Graham. Now, I'm not saying as a human being he deserves, derision or whatever, but and Sean will say, I don't care what it is. I've made millions following this way of thinking, and I understand completely. Do you know how long the Village People kept doing the Village People Act? They kept doing that act over, and it paid. I can't blame them. And Hannity's act, who's a good guy, he really is. It's an act, and not an act, but I'm saying it's a routine he believes in. But nobody. We see Lindsey Graham, and we see. So let me just tell you, it's all changed. Left and right, people are. Hunter Biden now makes more sense. In some cases, not all, but more people realize what happened. Oprah Winfrey refuses to interview Meghan Markle. You know why? Because she really up big time by daring to go against the royal family, by putting Meghan Markle on, who said that the Queen or whatever, they were racist. Oh, that was it. Sometimes, if you notice, I'm not going to mention their names, but there's a couple of prominent lawyer types who all of a sudden are now back into the anti-Candace thing. It's almost like they're saying, listen, a deal's a deal. Back off. One kind of went away, and other goes, no, come on back in. Because people think the way you go after Candace is to attack her. What she does is remember how your mother would say, don't pick that. Don't pick it. When you have do you ever see when you have a big white head? Do you ever have a big perfect zit with some Vesuvius-like white head, like Kilimanjaro, ready to, what's the first thing you do? You pop it. You pop it. It's there. It's ready to go. Hello, pop me. Let's get this out of here. And somebody will say, don't do that. What? Don't scratch that. Don't. But it itches. You don't scratch that. Don't pop it. Yes, you pop it. What are you talking about? Dr. Pimple Popper, poor thing. Hope she's doing better. Now, When you want to go after Candace, don't put somebody out to attack her. What you're doing is you're popping it, you're scratching it, you're bringing it back up again. Whatever, if Candace is kind of calming down, let's say people say, oh, okay, maybe you're bringing it back up. You're energizing her core. You're an idiot. You have to ignore her. I know you can't do this. You have to ignore her. This is my advice. You have to. There are people who sit back and they just, as soon as somebody attacks Candace, they wake up like this. Did I hear that? Did somebody attack her? My girl? Because let me tell you something, and this may be even more. They love her. Watching your show keeps me frustratingly humble in the best way. Ooh, I like that. What, pray tell, does that mean? You know, humility, easy for me to say, humility is a wonderful thing. Never take yourself seriously. Whatever you do, do not take yourself seriously. I cannot say that enough. And that's an honor, I believe. I'm not really sure. I don't know what that means. That's a very interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing. We are absolutely, positively, 100% involved in this thing. And I mean this. We are nothing but little cogs in the wheel, dust in the wind. We are nothing at all that really important. And what we have is, the only thing we have is just common sense. That's it. There's only nothing to this. But I mean that. But let me go back to this. I want to explain something to you. You can analyze things all you want that you don't understand. I do not understand how people can go batshit crazy over FIFA and the World Cup. But they do. Now I can argue it. I can say it doesn't make any sense, and that's great. Meanwhile, the entire world thinks differently. People love Candace Owens. I don't know if you understand this. I'm sure you do. They love her more than grainy pictures of whatever it is. You have no idea. They love her. They love her more than people hate, supposedly, Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk is a derivative matter. If Erica Kirk, if you say, listen, how about if we never talk about Erica again? Fine. But if somebody said, how about we never talk about Candace? They say, oh, no. Erica, I keep saying Erica. Candace is FIFA. Candace is the World Cup. Candace is the Beatles. People remember when they were kids were going crazy, girls were swooning. And if you don't understand that, if you think that getting Viva, or I keep saying he's a good guy, but I'm just picking him as an example, or Barnes, if you think they're going to do something, if you think they're going to say, well, I loved Candace, loved her, used to watch her all the time. Yeah, but Viva Fry said this, or Glenn Beck said this, or Ben Shapiro said this. Are you kidding me? What do you think that does? Why did you enlist, or why? What are they going to do? The worst thing in the world anybody can ever tell you, and listen to what I'm telling you, listen to me, is to say you're harmless. Did you see that Candace said about that? Yeah. Bless her heart. In the South, you know what I mean? That's the worst thing in the world. That is the worst. But as opposed to, how dare she? Do you understand how stupid that is? How could you get people? How could you move people in an emergency room without that? Oh, it's just crazy. Ooh, I like that. Go on. If I didn't know better, I'd swear Candace said to tell you what, whatever they pay you, I'll double it to talk. No, to intensify it. Go even stronger. Go max. Okay. Go max in your protestations against me. You have no idea. You keep me alive. You're the only one who, you were the reason why. Two things. The love for Candace, and also as a product, but also because we really don't. I mean, we know her. I think we know her, maybe intuitively, but we don't. She's got her privacy. That's fine. But whatever this product is, you know who reminds me of just now? You know the guy, Jacques Chirac. You see, with respect of the communist. Have you seen this? Leave that. I don't even know what his name. You just know what he's got. He's got symbols and umlauts, and I don't know what the hell this is. He is the, I don't know what he's talking about half the time. He's a communist. He's an anarchist. You know what I'm talking about. And he goes, and he always grabs his nose, and he's sibilant, and he spits, and anyway, watch him. He's very, very funny. In any event, what happens is you are creating Candace. So keep it up. And Ben Shapiro, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for bringing this. Because let me ask you this. How many of you fine people right now really said, and I'm going to just tell me if you agree or not, if this satisfies you. You know, I'm not exactly the most political of people. And I didn't really know. And I knew who Candace Owens was, but I kind of ventured in, maybe here, to our thing, or maybe hers, and I'm hooked. And not only am I hooked, but I'm a part of a clan, of a group, of a pep squad. And I feel that I love this. And it's changed my way of kind of politics, and I'm really involved in this. And it's because I am aware of this, because I never knew Candace. I know. Does this make sense to you? How many of you, this is the most important, how many of you find yourself in this discussion and you love it and you never really went looking for it, but it hooked you? And it's also, since you were here, you're saying, you know what, I'm kind of reevaluate what I thought about politically. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should reconsider this politics. Maybe I should look at, am I conservative? I don't know. I think a lot of us, believe it or not, I think that, and this is important, I think that many of us, believe it or not, have an inherent sense of right and wrong. And however that's best captured, whatever the particular labeling is, the better it is. That's all. Because what pulls you is a sense of this is right, this is wrong. And I don't need a Bible or a religion or God or anybody to tell me this. I know this intuitively. Intuitively, I know this. This is wrong. This is wrong. You can't execute. I mentioned this last night. You're not going to execute the wrong person in my name. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Don't do this. And I don't need God to tell you this. I don't need everybody will say, no, he's the wrong person. He didn't do it. Anyway, my friends, I love yous. I love you. Do me a big, big favor today, my beloved. Mrs. Al is going to be having her midday Lens Warriors live. I'm going to invite you to that. Please do me a favor. Please, you've been so terrific. She is so, how do I say this? Everything that we do now is important, but everything that she does is critical, because she is talking about protecting children, not going after the internet, not talking about, I don't even know what, it's children who are contaminated, children who are hurt, children who are lured in by unrestrained, unprotected, unguardrailed, raw AI systems and the like. Please go to Lens Warriors and subscribe to her channel. Lens Warriors, one more time. This is the link. And at noon today, she's going to be doing a live. So I thank you for that, because her work is incredible. Also tonight from 2 to 5 a.m. on WABC, we do the weekend version of, it's called Another Side of Midnight. The name I liked was Bowling for Sports Shirts, which nobody really cared for. But that's tonight, where she is always my first guest every week. It's a labor of love. It's a passion that she works through Lens Warriors, her .org, but she's Lens Warriors on YouTube and Lens Warriors on X. Well, anyway, thank you for that. Anyway, you have a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood here, 77 degrees, and a bright and sunny New York day. It is always a pleasure. You have comported yourself with dignity. Thank you so much for your kindness, for your contributions and the like. Thank you for the new members and the new folks. I appreciate it immensely. And thank you for your very kind words. And thank you for your open mind. Remember, we want truth, and we're not going to apologize to anybody for it. Sorry, But that's just the way it be. Until next time, my friends, remember the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.